Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome along. It is Sunday. It is the 19th of December 2021, and it's at 4 p.m. Sway and stretch. As you know, myself and Kelsey did a swap for the last couple of days. So Kelsey's been doing breakfasts, and I've been doing 4 p.m. It's worked out all right. I can have a lie in. Right. So if you're on catch up, pop us a comment and let us know you've been in. What's it like your way? It's been foggy here all day. It's been a foggy old day. Overcast and, well, okay, overcast, definitely, but foggy. It's been horrible. But hey, it's meant they are getting stuff done, so they are wrapping presents. I mean, back's hurting me now, so I can do with this sway and stretch. Ken, good afternoon to you, welcome along. Maddie, good afternoon to you, welcome along. How are things with you two guys? Hopefully good. Maya, Seth, I can see that you're in as well. I can see little icons of pop up. I think I've got that right. Could be wrong. You never know. Say hello as you come on board, folks. Let us know you're here. Yeah, it is me, Seth. Good to have you with us. Christmas present wrapping today. We have been doing. Kay's still wrapping away at the table now, so she's still going for it. Gillian Hillier, good afternoon to you. Very foggy day here in Port Talbot too. Yeah. Has it been like it all day for you as well, Gillian? It's been absolutely pea super all day. It's been horrible. Good afternoon, George. How the devil are you? Good to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon. Heading fast and furious towards 4 o'clock. Wrapping presents. Got a bit of the Horse of the Year show on in the background as well. Do enjoy a good bit of the Horse of the Year show. Very fortunate to go and see it a few years ago. We were there on the night of the Puissance. Get it correct. See, the boss will tell me. She's a horsey person. So very, very fortunate to be there when the Puissance was on. Just watching highlights of the Puissance that took place earlier in the week. Scary, that was huge. Poor little horses jump over it. But hey, so bit of that on, bit of wrapping, so a bit of head turning going on, making sure I did it correctly as in, you know, wrapping presents. Pause in the centre before I turn to the sellotape. Yeah, I listen to the things that I say. Unusual, really, that, isn't it? Right, listen, we must be heading furlong-wise towards 4 o'clock. We must be getting there really, really quickly now. So, someone tell me if we're at 4 o'clock because I can't see it on my phone. As Kelsey said this morning, they've changed it. They've changed blooming Facebook. Can't get the time up on the top of the screen now. Thanks, Facebook, for making things really easy for us. Margaret Wood, good afternoon to you. Good to have you with us. Tell me when we're at 4 o'clock, folks, so we can do our 3, 2, 1 and we can get ourselves going. It is a sway and a stretch for this Sunday afternoon. It's the 19th of December 2021. Not far away from the old Christmassy day. Right, Vivian Dixon, good afternoon to you. Dickinson, sorry, good afternoon to you. Foggy all day here too, and now it's freezing. Being a walk and need warming up before we crease up, or before we seize up, sorry. Hopefully we're not going to seize up. Are we at 4 o'clock yet, folks? Can someone tell me? I think we are. Try and look at the clock over my shoulder. I think we're at 4 o'clock. So should we have our 3, 2, 1? All right, get yourself ready. If you want to leave the comments on the bottom of the screen, you can swipe to the right. Quick hello to Carol Kent, who's just bursting through the door. Hope Dobbin has tinsel around his neck for Christmas. No, he doesn't. He's allergic. He gets tinselitis if I put tinsel around his neck. I don't want him to be on antibiotics over Christmas. Christine Rowland, good afternoon to you. Welcome along. Listen, we swipe those comments to the right. They are gone. Should we have a 3, 2, 1? Good afternoon, everybody. You're with Dave Montgomery from LA Live Training. Today is Sunday. It's the 19th of December, 2021. And this is your sway and stretch. Sorry, just getting my Christmas voiceover out of the way. Let's get ourselves ready to go then. Should we do it standing? Should we do it seated? Choice is yours. You do as you feel fit. Comfortable, sensible footwear on. I've got a good sturdy chair. I've got some fixed external support available to me. Garland has been added. It's been blazoned with some little candy apples and lights and jewels that you can't quite see in there. So I've been busy. I need to raise my statues up a little bit though, don't I? They're sort of lost, I feel, in the garland, but we'll sort it. Right, so standing, we've got our fixed external support available. We've got a strong, sturdy chair if we were doing it seated. We've got fixed support either to the front or to the side. Now, let's have a look at our posture to start off with. So, heels in line with knees in line with hips, lifted and lengthened. Knees softened though. So it's this increase in space between the ribs and the hips we're looking for as far as that lifted and lengthened is concerned. Shoulders up, back, and pressed down. Now in our seated position, what we're going to do here is firstly bring ourselves off the back of the chair. So from the back of the chair, bring yourself forward so you're doing the support now, not the chair. From there, it's a lift and a shift to bring ourselves into the front third. Once we're sat in the front third of the chair, we can line everything up again. Get those legs lined up, get the knees lined up with the heels, heels lined up with the knees. Lift and lengthen again out from the hips, take the shoulders up, back and press down. And let's start with our circulation boosting. Does exactly what it says. It boosts that circulation. And to do it, we start with small movements, and then we start to make them a little bit bigger as we increase the intensity. That's what it's all about. So from here, from this heel raise, we can take it into a march, actually lifting the foot away from the floor. That gives us the opportunity to start to point those toes down towards the floor. So we start to get some movement happening into those ankles as well. Now, in seated, if you get muscle fatigue, you know your prompts. Back down into that heel raise, but really feel that crease from between the toes and the ball of the foot. Or tap out diagonally forward. Or walk your feet forward and have a little tap of those toes there on the floor. Adding an arm in, driving the elbow backwards, controlled movement, and in seated, and in standing if we're not using support, change the arm to the other side every now and again, so you're balancing it up. In standing, if we're using support, we're going to do exactly the same, but we need to think about it. So hand comes down before the other hand comes off. That's the first one. If it's to the front, we can do it. If it's to the side, however, what we need to do, slow this down a little bit. Make it a little bit smaller, movement-wise. Lose the arm. Start to turn in towards your support with both hands on towards the other side. And once you get to the other side, we can bring that bigger march back in with both with arm and leg. And then finally, in standing and seated, if we want to, we can put both arms, both legs together. Remember, it doesn't have to be a fast move. It's about the range of motion. And it's about what's right for you. So, is it making you breathe a little bit harder? Is it making your heart beat a little bit faster? Is it making you feel a little bit warmer? These are the questions that we need to answer. If we can answer those yes, then we're boosting our circulation. 2.5, 3 max minutes wise is what we're looking at. And then bring it down to those smaller movements. Bring it back into that heel raise and then bring it to a pause. At which point we're ready to take on our sway and our stretch. So let me just reposition my chair slightly. So we have our sway movements. Remember, we have this starting position with our heels just slightly outside of our hips, lifted and lengthened. And what we're going to do to start off with the foot, is lift, take the toe outwards and place it back down. So we've lifted the foot and we've turned the toe. The heel stays on the floor. It's only the toes that lift. Once we've got that toe out to the side, we've got this movement that comes forward, back and over. A bit like we're either hoeing or sweeping in the garden. That motion there. And have a look at this front knee. This knee comes no further forward than those toes. So we're staying within our base of support. Once we've done a series of those, we're going to switch to the other side. And to do that switch, what we do is just add this arm movement over the top. But have a look what happens when that arm movement comes in. So I get 3 of these with this sweeping type motion and bringing it back in. And then on the 4th one, we start with that motion, but we can bring the hands over the top. And as the hands come over the top, we bring the foot back in. Again, lifting the toes, but keeping the heel on the floor. That brings us back to this position here. And here, an important point for you is, that motion over the top is as big or as small as you want it. So it could be a big reach, getting the best range of motion, or your best range of motion may be here. That is fine. It's wherever is right for you. But the important thing is, as we bring that motion across, we lift the foot off the floor, toes wise, keeping the heel down, and bring those toes back in to line. Once we've done that, we can set ourselves ready for the other side. So we can lift the toes, heel down, turn out, and away we go on the other side. So again, we can do 3 of these motions here. Shifting the weight, coming back in, and on the final one, we bring the hands up and over, lifting the toes, turning the heel back in to bring ourselves back in to this finishing point with our central toes pointing towards the front, hands into the centre. Now, if you're using your support, then obviously what you're going to do, if the support is in front of you, ideally, we can do this movement here, and we've got this single-handed movement there, one hand at a time. And then when you've done your third and you take the hand over, you still stay with this hand on your support, and you bring yourself back in, place that other hand down. That then leaves you in the position to take it off to the side. If you're using support to the side, then it's going to be slightly different. What we're going to do here is lift the foot, take the toe out slightly, but we need to be careful where that support is. This forward motion and back, this forward motion and back, and this big movement bringing us over to the top, back around, takes us across the body. Pausing here, we can turn into our support for the other side. Seated, exactly the same. Set ourselves up, lift and out, and we've got this hinge of the hip that happens that allows that movement to simulate the shift of weight from side to side. And again, after the third one, big as we can make it, across, over and down. So that was movement number one. Movement number two then came into this here with the hands. So we have the hands lift and they lower. We've got a bend of the knees, a hinge of the hips as we come over and round and down. So have a look. We've got the hands floating up and down, staying nice and tall. We've got a hinge and a bend, round, up, and press down. And what we added into that yesterday was a step as well. So we've got the hands raising up, and we've got the hands coming down. We take a step forward, we hinge from our hips, allow the hands to come over and step back in. And then we can do exactly the same on the other side with that step forward, heel down, toe down, shift the weight onto the front, bring ourselves back in, toe heel to raise back in, and pause in the centre. And that's where we'll leave it. So let's put those two parts together. So we've got three of these movements over the top, three of these movements over the top. We do one of those on one side, stepping out and back in, and then we change it to the other side so we get forward motion on both sides of our body as well. So what we can now do to feel this as a relaxing movement is start to synchronise our breath if we can. So breathe in and out and follow it with the movements as they go. Let's take you through a couple of times. I'm going to go through 2 times. Second one I'm going to do in a seated position so you can see how it works in seated. And remember, again, in standing, make sure you've got your hands on your support. Your support is there. Okay? Right, let's take ourselves in. So, to start off with, we've got this tall position. We've got the lift, the turn, and the place. We take it out, back in. Getting this big sweeping movement, but keeping the knees within those the toes line. Yeah. From here, we've got the big movement over the top as we bring ourselves back in. We reset, bringing ourselves back down, lifting, turning, following through with that knee. Over the toes, big controlled motions. Here we take it over the top, breathing in and out. From here, arms up. Control the motion, work within your own range. Step forward, heel toe, a hinge of the hip to bring it forward and back in. Raise up and allow to float down. Again, breathing with it. Have a little pause there. We come into a seated position and let's go for it again. So sitting tall, we lift, we take the toes out, we sweep forward and back, sweep forward and back. Lovely, controlled movements, feeling every part of that body moving. Here comes the big sweep over the top, the lift of the toes to bring it back into the centre. Repositioning here, lift and out with that toe. Sweep forward and back. Make sure you give yourself enough room and take a pause if you need to. Breathing through as we do this. There's the third one. We're going to bring it up and over. cross and round, repositioning that foot back into the front. We've got the lift and the lower. Stepping forward, heel toe, we lean in, we hinge, we bring it back and step back in, toe heel, raising and lowering again. Thinking about your foot placement, thinking about your body as it moves, and from there take a pause. There we are. That is our sway routine for this week. Now from here, let's go into our stretches. So starting in a seated position, we do exactly the same in our standing position. Let's take the arms out in front. Put one hand inside the other. Push away and lower your head slightly. Feel a stretch coming across the top of your back and up into your neck. Now when we lower this head slightly, we look just underneath our hands, about 6 to 8 foot in front of us. So we just lengthen up through the lower part of our neck as well as across the top of our back. From there, release out. We bring the hands into the small of the back. And we can either place the hands with the palms away from us or the palms into us. And in our seated position, what we can also do is put the hands onto the chair, the side of the chair, behind our bottom. We draw the shoulders back slightly, but the main part of the move is to lift that chest, keeping the eye line level. So we lengthen across the top here. With all of these stretches, we're looking at around about 12 to 20 seconds. Breathing in and out, releasing out. Now bring one arm across the front of the body, and then gently bring the hand in to just ease it in towards the body. So arm comes across, we gently ease it in towards us. So we get a stretch into the back of the shoulders. And it's exactly the same in standing as in seated. Just remembering in standing, we've got a good base of support to work with. Change it to the other side, so the other arm just comes across the front, and we gently just pull it in towards us. So just feel this stretch into the back of the shoulders. Think about all those sweeping motions that you did, and that over the top, worked hard in your shoulders there. And then from there, release out, have a little shake. We're going to go into our calf. So in our standing position, with support by the side of us and to the front of where we are standing, we take a step back, toe down, heel down. And then bend your front knee, just allow yourself to lean into it, getting a straight line from head down to heel. I'm just disappearing off the camera now, aren't I? In seated, what we can do is extend the leg away in front, heel down, toes pointing upwards, ease the heel away a little bit more, bring the toes in towards your shin and just feel that lengthening down through the back of your lower leg and your calf. We're sitting tall, we're staying tall, we're making the abs and the core and the trunk support this upper body. Again, 12 to 20 seconds, easing off, stepping back in. Remembering, as always, a stretch is felt but not hurt. Now in standing, if you're using support, take as many steps as you need to turn to the other side. Set yourself up again. In seated, set yourself up. Heel down, toes up. In standing, if we're doing it in standing, then we've got our support to the front of us. We take a big step back. We bend the front knee and allow ourselves to lean into that and get that stretch there into the back of the thigh. You can see from here, if I reposition myself slightly, there we go. The heel stays down, and because I allow myself to lean forward, what I've got is this lengthening down through the back of my lower leg. Easing out of that after 12 to 20 seconds, stepping back in. We want to have a little march just to loosen off. Now to the back of our thigh. So again in standing, leg that's closest to the support stays still, knee stays soft, step forward on the other foot, heel down, toe down, lift a little bit taller, hinge at our hip, and we get this lengthening down through the back of the thigh. In seated, we start off as if we're going to do our stretch for our calves. Heel down, toe up, but release the toes down towards the floor. Sitting, holding on, and hands resting onto that bent leg. Sit a little bit taller, hinge forward. Now the little sit and lift taller and the little stand taller starts the stretch off before we actually hinge. So we start to get that lengthening happening, and then we lean into it. We hinge the hips, and that means we don't have to go as far to feel that stretch. What it might also mean is we can take a breath in, and as we breathe out, take it a little bit further, and we're not having to lean too far forward to increase that stretch a little bit more as well. From there, unhinge, bring the foot back in, change to the other side, either in seated or standing, and away you go. Now, in standing, if you're not using support, then important to remember here, we can do exactly the same. Yeah, we lift and we lengthen and we hinge. What do we do with our hands? Well, they kind of stay here. We can put them onto our hips, or we can rest them on this back leg. Just don't be tempted to put them on this front leg that is extended. And feel that lengthening down through the back of your thigh. Okay? Breathe in, breathe out, and as you breathe out, take it a little bit further if you can, pushing the bottom away a little bit further in standing, hinging a little bit further in seated. And then ease out of it, unhinge, bring the foot back in, have a little pedal through on those feet. There you go. That is it. That is your Sunday afternoon sway and a stretch. We are done. I will see you tomorrow at some point, I think, or I'm not sure. No, I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you at Tuesday on some point, I think. I don't know what I'm on next week, to tell you the truth. I hope I've got a bit more flexibility over the next couple of weeks so I can do a bit more. 12s and 4s are difficult for me, working wise, but hopefully I'll have things quieting down a bit over the next couple of weeks, so I should be able to do a little bit more, but we will see. I can't remember what I'm doing. Anyway, there we go. That's me done for today. Crowbarring some additional activities. Stay safe, stay warm, stay mobile, stay crowbarring. Toodles, everybody.